Hi and welcome to Best in Tesla. So Marcus Brownlee did another EV review, and this time it was Toyota that got under the knife and got hit with some bad reviews of their Lexus RX 450e. But as Marcus said, buy literally any other EV instead. A nice interior cannot make up for the RX 450e's many weaknesses. At the same time, Toyota is coming out with this subpar EV. They are shrinking fast in China and Southeast Asia. And we have a new price war going on in Australia, and no, Toyota is not part of that either, but Tesla is of course leading the way. Toyota is looking more and more like the Blockbuster of the automotive world. So let me show you why, and let's dive right in. So the Lexus RX 450e, great name by the way, is really a bad EV when it comes to the normal specs you look for in an electric car. Driving range is far below current expectations here in 2024, with only 220 miles EPA estimated range for their premium trim and 196 miles for their luxury trim. These are less range than the 265 miles of Tesla's Model S back in 2012, 12 years ago. Even the original Roadster had more range than this. This is embarrassing, especially with a sticker price of almost $68,000. The RX is also limited at fast charging stations, outside the already below average 150 kilowatt charging speed. Yikes, the fine print of the RX in their brochure states that DC fast charging should be limited to 3 sessions per day, regardless of the weather. After 3 10 to 80% charging sessions, DC fast charging over the next day may take longer and be less effective. What? Who is ever going to buy this car? Everyone that tests out any other EV, no matter the brand, is quickly going to realize how much this car lacks in EV capabilities. The Toyota BZ4X has already been a big flop for Toyota, but the Lexus is even worse. It almost feels like Toyota has done this on purpose to not sell any of these EVs, as they are likely losing a lot of money on making it. Remember, Toyota has already said themselves they would never become profitable with their current EV platform, and that is why they have been working on the next generation platform, where they are trying to copy the Tesla Model Y after they ripped it apart and called it a work of art, and are now starting to going into gigacasting and structural battery pack and all that other good stuff they learned from Tesla, and hopefully they will have a new EV on that platform on the market in 2026 at the earliest. So we know they are not able to ever become profitable with their current EV platform. So that is probably why they are hardly trying to make something that people is going to want to buy. Because I think this is exactly why the Jaguar I-Pace never made the big splash many people thought it would. Because it had decent specs when it comes to the performance. It drove really well and was a fun car to drive, and the interior was really nice and quite build quality. But with only 100 kilowatt of charging speed and way too low range, no one really wanted to buy the Jaguar I-Pace. And next year it will be discontinued. People like nice interior, but they will not sacrifice range and charging speed in their EVs. These are some of the most crucial things for EV buyers. And we have seen that with the I-Pace, and now Toyota is doing the same thing. We can compare the I-Pace and the Model Y to really see the difference between a successful EV and a failure. But personally, I think it is because Toyota don't want to sell too many, because no matter how many they sell, they will still lose money, as they have already told us themselves. But Toyota have solid-state battery, that will change everything. Sure. They also said that a decade ago, and again in 2018, Toyota's first solid-state battery-powered EV was due out in 2021. Then it was 2022, and now it's still not out here in 2024. And now Toyota plans to introduce them in 2027 or 2028, with mass production coming after 2030. So yeah, let's see if they will ever come out with this groundbreaking technology they have with their solid-state battery that they have been talking about for a decade, but have yet to see the day of light. And we have just seen the price for EV batteries come down from over $1,000 to around $100 per kilowatt hour, so down tenfold over the last decade. So if Toyota's solid-state battery is going to push that back up over $1,000, it will be irrelevant. And they need to be able to produce them at scale, as EVs takes a lot of batteries. And Toyota says themselves that they will not have it in mass production before after 2030. So it seems like this breakthrough battery will arrive too late to become relevant. As Elon always says, is the pace of innovation that matter, not the innovation itself, because if they have a breakthrough in this solid-state battery today, but if it will be 7 years before we'll see it at scale and in mass production of EVs, it will arrive to the battlefield when the battle is over. And at that time, they will for sure have lost China completely and Europe as well, and maybe 50 to 70% of the US market. There will not be much left. So this is also why Toyota is trying to slow down the EV transition, simply because they are not ready. The EVs shows us exactly that. They are half-baked at best. They thought their hydrogen car was the solution, but nobody wanted that car. It has been out since 2015, but still not really selling any meaningful volume of the Mirai. And Toyota has even admitted themselves that it has not been a success, and it's better to put electricity directly into the car. But Toyota entered the BE race so late that they really had to bring something special. But then they gave us the flop of the BZ4X and the Lexus RS 450e that is simply just not up to par with the competition. And in China, Toyota is down 11% in the first half of 2024, the biggest car market on the planet, and this will continue as China's new energy vehicle market continues to grow and BYD continues to take market share from the old legacy automakers. BYD has risen to become the best-selling automaker in China, and Tesla has come from basically nothing only 5 years ago to become a top 10 auto brand in China. Also here in the first half of 2024, only 3 places down from the mighty Toyota. So of course, when BYD and Tesla are growing this much, together with all the other Chinese brands like Geely that is quickly catching up the Volkswagen as well, actually beat Volkswagen in July, it of course has to take those sales numbers from someone, and that has been the legacy automakers that have not been able to keep up with the EV race in China. But Tesla has been able to make a name for itself in China over the last 5 years since it started their factory in the country. In fact, the Tesla Model Y emerged as the best-selling new energy vehicle in China for the first half of 2024, surpassing fierce competition. The Model Y recorded 207,817 units sold, up from about 204,000 in the same period last year. So even though more and more competition is coming and BYD has cars in China that cost 1/3 of the price of the Model Y, it is still the Model Y that is the best-selling new energy vehicle of any kind in the country. But we are seeing Toyota's fall from glory happening right now in China and the rest of Asia, as BEVs is no longer the expensive choice, but the obvious choice in China. But it's not only in Asia they're doing great. In Australia, the Chinese continues the price war for EVs. 5 years ago, the most affordable electric car for sale in Australia was priced in the excess of $50,000 on the drive-away price. Today, it has limboed under $34,000. For the first time after the price cut, MG has just done with their ZS EV. You can find a Toyota Corolla with higher sticker price than this. So taking true cost of ownership into calculation, EVs are quickly becoming the obvious choice in Australia as well. Tesla is still dominating the sales chart with the Model Y and Model 3 by quite a margin, down to number 3 and 4 that are both BYDs. And we can see the Seal has actually overtaken the Auto 3 as the best-selling model from BYD in Australia. So nice to see the Seal starting to get some momentum. And we are also seeing BEVs soaring in Australia with over 100% in the first half of 2024 compared to last year. So probably only a matter of time before Toyota is going to see a big decline here as well, thanks to the likes of BYD and Tesla. And the funny thing is, Toyota is getting help from BYD to make powertrains for their electric cars in China. So why should the local Chinese choose a Toyota over a BYD when they can just buy the local brand, get a better EV for a better price? I think Toyota is digging their own grave here with their stubborn pursuit of the dying hydrogen car, the late come to the EV race with their EVs that nobody wants to buy. What is keeping Toyota alive is their plug-in hybrids, but as I talked about before, that will soon come to an end as well, as we saw happening in Norway. And with the new stricter regulation in the EU when it comes to emission target and hybrids lower utility factors starting next year as well, they are no longer going to be very attractive already next year here in Europe. And 68% of Toyota sales in Europe are hybrids, and they are not expecting to come out with a new EV platform before 2026 at the earliest. So we could see a big drop in Toyota sales, not only in China, as they're going all BEVs over the next 5 to 6 years, but also in Europe, as we are also shifting to BEVs, and even faster over the next 5 years as we get stricter emission target in 2025 and 2030 and lower utility factor on hybrids in 2025 and 2027, and more affordable models coming from the Chinese and Tesla. Toyota is in a very bad spot here. They don't even have a plan to keep up with the market, as Toyota only expect to sell 3.5 million EVs in 2030, but they expect half of that being hybrids, which I find very optimistic with the changes we are seeing coming to Europe and China. So they only expect to make about 1.7 million BEVs in 2030, so less than what Tesla did in 2023. They are not even planning to keep up with the likes of Tesla or BYD or anyone else really. Even Hyundai Kia has a plan for 3 million in 2030. If BEVs are going to grow as fast as I think, Toyota will become a very little automaker in 2030, if they can even keep themselves alive at that point. And that could be very expensive for Japan, as sure the government will probably just bail them out, but Toyota also have about $200 billion of debt as well, so they're going to be a very big fish to keep alive. And yes, Toyota might also have a solid-state battery down the pipeline, but it has to be cheaper and better to be able to compete with the so-called normal EVs of today, and be able to do it at scale, and I think it will be too little too late. I think Toyota is in a really bad spot and could very well become the next Blockbuster that laughed at Netflix when they were in a meeting where Netflix offered Blockbuster to buy Netflix for $50 million. And now Blockbuster is dead and Netflix is one of the biggest streaming services in the world. I think we will see the same shift in the automotive industry, where the old players are going to be obsolete and we will have a lot of new players taking the lion's share of the market. But what do you think? Are you seeing the beginning of the end of Toyota as well, or is there still hope and time for Toyota to do the right thing? And are they willing to do the right thing? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.